All right, if we'll bow for a word of prayer. Dear Lord, thank you for bringing us here this evening, Lord, as we start this new school year off. Please be with us as we go through all the policies and changes that are happening this year, Lord. Please be with the teachers, the students, the administrators, and guide them as we go in this way, Lord. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Hey, before we start, Mr. Copeland, Ms. Shelton, would you stand up? I'd like to introduce Ms. Miranda Shelton, our newest upper elementary principal. You've met Mr. Whitrock, Brad Whitrock. You met Charles Walker, Mike Copeland, Dan Goldbeck, and Bill Rice.
Nice to have you.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Welcome. Okay, roll call and call to order. Looks like everybody is here today. So public participation. There is nobody. Okay. Discussing possible actions on the minutes of the regular meeting, June 23rd, 2025, special meeting of June 23rd, 2025, July 8th, 2025, and July 23rd, 2025.
I'll make a motion to approve item C.
I'll second that.
Can I vote if I wasn't at one of them?
You're just approving them, so you can vote. Yes. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion passes. Discussion and possible action on the following encumbrances: general fund encumbrances, accounts payable 1307 through 1362, payroll 7228 through 702047, co-op fund encumbrances, accounts payable 1206, change orders, listings in general co-op and building, treasurer's report, and activities fund custodian reports.
Okay, on page 1 of your finance report, you can see what our encumbrance total is, $867,608.42. Co-op was $656, and building change order was $11,542.25. There was no changes in child nutrition or the bond. All of the particular items that we have for encumbrances are pretty much regular. We did do the $100 deal for the teacher classrooms because they have supplies they need. Career Tech fax expense was to the Career Tech convention up in Stillwater. It was Stillwater, wasn't it? I think. Then we have supplies like for ADPC, and there's a lot of renewals. We had some software expense for music, and of course one-day cleaners so we can get those uniforms clean and smelling good before the season starts. It's always a good start. We also have, you can see over on page, all the way through page 3, quite a few different expenses tied to the start of school. And then you come over to the payroll encumbrances. We've got payroll encumbrances that are starting up for the coming year. These were the people that came in early or are new employees to the district. I'll point out Miranda Shelton, Mackenzie Appenbach. Then we have Connor Brooks that came in early, Suzanne Copeland, so forth and so on. Those are all, and these are reimbursement type things right here, except for Miranda and Stan Blundell. We got his payroll encumbrance stuff. We'll do the others, the remaining. We've done 6 million of them so far. We'll come back in and do the rest of them before the next payroll. If you go over and look on page 5, these are change orders for different things. Like we had a change order to Floor Tech for a shampoo machine for Gilmore and a vacuum for KHS and 3 spares. Our custodians worked so hard this summer they wore out 3 vacuum cleaners, literally. And a lot of paint and things like that. Ms. Leffingwell's door. And as you go on over, you can see the payroll encumbrances for a few other people that are involved in the grants. And then we come over to really nothing remarkable there. I'd like to point out to you on the treasurer's report, our open investment ledger. Page 1 on the open investment ledger, we have $1.518 million in CDs that we haven't had to touch yet, which I didn't know if those things had survived last spring, but they did. And we're drawing pretty good interest on them, really. I mean, not what we were last year at this time, but you know, that everybody's kind of got to be glad. This next one, we can go to this particular, if you'll go to your big sheet.
So did we renew that one at F&M?
Yes. Yes, we did.
Oh, I think so, I'm sure you did.
Wasn't that the one we just redid?
No, Interbank was the 7th, August 7th, and I'll change that. It'll be 6/4/2026.
Okay. Okay, if you look at your revenue trends, the biggest thing that we're seeing right now is we are running $1,209,000 less than we were this time last year. Primarily, gross production's 19,000 lower than it was this time last year, almost 20,000. Foundation aid is 738,000 less than it was this time last year, and this is mostly due to the month that we're in because we haven't got a state aid payment yet. And we also got that $577,000 last year that we won't get this year to make up for the state aid funding on the salary increases. And we're going to have less revenue available early due to the loss of our balance forward because we've lost that down. We didn't collect as much. We didn't collect all of our $300,000. We didn't collect. And we've still got a couple of collections sitting out there that we haven't come in yet.
Okay.
When we were talking to James about when I was talking to him about the estimate of needs, he said, your estimate of needs is going to be down because you don't have as much carryover. And I said, we knew that. We built that into the budget. So we'll be fine. It's just going to depend on what we get, how we collect ad valorem. And if we follow the trend that we've been following ad valorem, we'll over collect by $1 million. And maybe more if we can get a little luck. Whenever you look over at the next page, here's Mr. Ferris's favorite page, the pie graphs. If you'll look right now in the center of that, I've got the FY26 minus FY25. We're actually 128,000 less on our expenditures than we were this time last year. Particularly in the services, we're 258,000 less. Burdens were 16,000. We were up a little bit in salaries, but that's because we had some carryover that we had on those. And we also had to pay part of the Rise to Read grant stuff during July because they worked during July. And Ms. Jones, when she left, she had completed part of her extra duty, so we had to pay that as well. But if you look, though, we're quite a bit lower in services. Supplies were up a little bit, but you're supposed to be up that much this time of year because you're resupplying for the coming year. This will bounce quite a bit. You know, I always talk about the balance of the budget, and the balance of the budget is going to see a huge gain in salaries and burdens by necessity. When we go to the next page, this is came out last week when we had done the agenda. We had this for exactly, I think, an hour. It took that long to get state aid out this year. But right now, if you look on the FY26 average to date, that's the number of students we've got enrolled right now, or that we've had show up, which is 1,179. We're down. Our final statistical report had us at 1,298, but that is basically off the high year. Right now, we're about 50 students off where we were this time last year, but that's totally expected because if you'll look at the 67 up there on pre-K full day, and we brought in 67 there, and we exited a little over 93 kids on this report. So that's 20 kids right there, and then we have several classes that have shrunk a little bit or retracted a little bit. Now, starting school as early as we did, that could change it at Labor Day. But the thing that's going to catch us here is we're going to be 3 weeks into a 9-week period, so we're only going to catch 2/3 of whoever comes in after Labor Day. Our initial state aid allocation was $148,000 less than what our final state aid allocation was from 2025. And whenever we look at that, I want you to understand, that's all right. We can live with that because they hold back 1.5 to 2.5%. I always figured at 1.5. We really lost 90,000 for the year if you look at that particular picture. I also want you to look at something else in here up underneath the calculated foundation aid. All right, in 2022, at the end of the year, we had $2.99 million in gross production. Look at the gross production line up in the chargeables. And then as you go from left to right, we went to 5 million, we went to 7.7 million, 4.212, and now we're at 3.283. We've adjusted our estimate of needs down to 2.8 is what we're putting on the estimate of needs, and the reason we're doing that is so we don't overestimate our revenue. If that turns south, we should be able to catch that. This month's August payment's going to be $212,000. Is that right, Pam? Or 220,000, something like that.
It's 226.
Yeah, 226, and then but the previous month was 312,000. So we're seeing a lot of jump around, just like we're seeing in the basis on the revenue. We're going to have to monitor our numbers, and we're watching it. We're pulling them every day, so we know where we're at. That's our big deal, is making sure we know where we're at. Fortunately, we have right-sized a lot of our class assignments for our teachers, and that really helped. Whenever you go to the next page, this is our valuation, our FY25 valuation versus our FY26. The county's going to call it the 24 versus the 25, but I do that to keep it straight because this is the tax we'll collect in 2026. Our real property values went up about $3 million. Our personal property actually decreased from $52 million down to $49 million. That's because we didn't have as many drilling rigs in district December 31. We didn't have, and we had quite a few pot farms that or cannabis farms, I guess, if you're more politically correct, that have closed, and we're not collecting tax on those. We also saw some businesses move out. We saw some decrease in oil field population through March of last year. Public service property decreased from 25.7 million down to 18.54 million, and that was, I believe, that was a pipeline evaluation that the Corporation Commission and then the State Excise Board gave. So the net value went from 142.1 million down to 134.25. And these are, I'll remind everybody that the taxes are based on 11% personal property and 11% real property value. So we're right there with what we can do to keep our state aid going. So James is putting that in, and then, as I told Mike, Mr. Copeland, we won't be having the estimate of needs tonight because we found a few issues in it that include, well, they didn't charge us down enough principal on our payment on the judgment. So that, we've got to figure out what went on there. And we wrote the check that they sent, the bill that they sent to us. And if you go look at that, the activity funds, we're pretty healthy there. I want to bring your attention to Gilmore's activity fund, their parent fund. And we had talked with them about possibly taking that out of the school and going to a sanctioned account. And they've decided they don't want to do that. So the student grade fund at Gilmore has $63,503 in it. So what they're going to do is they're going to spend that down with the new PTO that's over there. They'd rather keep it under the auspices of the school to try to protect the integrity of the expenditure process. And that's the report.
Does anybody have any questions or comments? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve item D, A through E.
That's second.
All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion passes. E, discussion and possible action on broadcast agreement with Michael Swisher Media LLC for the 2025-2026 fiscal year.
This is a process that we have to go through every year, so Mr. Swisher can broadcast our football and basketball games and whatever other games that he does, and this Michael Swisher LLC, so that means he's a public company, so, or not a public but a private LLC, and there's no compensation between Kingfisher Public Schools and Michael Swisher Media LLC for providing these services. We're not hiring him to do it. He's not paying us to do it.
I'll make a motion.
Just give him permission.
Giving him permission.
Broadcast.
I'll make a motion to approve item E.
I'll second.
All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion passes. F, discussion possible action on a resolution for lease renewal number 130563300, the field turf and associated components.
This is I had a patron call me about this today. This is not to buy any new field turf. What it is it is to renew the obligation that we have with not NBC, but F&M Bank. And this is just our intent to honor that, continue to honor that. Since it's a lease purchase, we have to re-up it every year.
Okay.
And how long is it?
How many more years? I think it's 3. I should have looked at that before we came tonight.
Any other questions or discussions? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve F.
I'll second it.
All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion passes. G, discussion and possible action to approve a contract for secondary career and technology education program for school year 2025-2026.
This is to allow us to continue the process of doing career tech within our school, like with Mrs. Knoll's class. And it does extend out to the career technology side.
Okay. Any questions or comments? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion. I second it.
All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion passes. H, discussion possible action to approve the Alternative Education Cooperative Contract MOUs district members.
This is to allow the school to receive the alternative ed co-op member schools like Okarche, Dover, and we send this out to them, they send it back to us with their agreement that they're in it, and we get their flow through on those students.
Okay. This is an annual one.
This is an annual one we do.
Any questions or comments? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion, we approve item H.
I'll second.
All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion passes. I, discussion of meal plans and federal rules.
Okay, this is important because we've got to talk. This doesn't require a vote because it's kind of federal law. We don't get a vote on this. I wish we did, but, all right, so, on the meal program that we have, number one, we had a really good meeting with Tara. And, Cheyenne, our new manager, I think she's going to be really good at this. We all understand the rules of a kid goes one time through and they don't pay. If they come back the second time, we charge them if they want to come back through. One of the things that they talked about today was that kids couldn't come back and get fruit. I don't agree with that. They're going to come back and get fruit. If we have to eat that, we'll eat that, literally, because we want our kids full.
Right.
So if they're on free and reduced, they still pay for the second meal? if
Yes.
They go back through?
Yes, because our program is taking place of that. And we also told them, give them all the milk they want. In memory of Dr. Bosco, I really thought about trying to see if we could get Brahms Green Top milk because Dr. Bosco was so big on that, and I figured if it kept somebody looking like he looked, that might not be such a bad deal, but we didn't do that. But we also need to make sure that you understand, because you may get calls about this, there are no adults that get to eat free. This is just for kids. And we are trying to make sure that we keep that up, and we're going to go to a 1 month policy on charges so we can get those back in, unlike what we were doing. Nobody's going to be turned away from a meal, but that second time around, maybe. So we really need everybody to make sure that whenever they get those, they get those bills, that we get those paid so their kids can eat all they want.
Okay.
I have a couple things on that. First, last year we talked about the Q was concerned about the meals or like the quality and all that. Did that all get discussed?
Yes, sir, it did. And what we've done is Ms. Shelton is taking care of the North 2 campuses and checking the quality of the meals there. Ms. Tollison's taking care of the South 2 campuses, or 3. And we're meeting once a month to go through that. Tara was told in no uncertain terms, you guys don't have quality meals, you're gone. And we will hire these people back and we will do our own meals.
And the other part that I have is just, I think it's a misunderstanding in the town, and I've been asked a little bit, can you talk a little bit on how the free and reduced meals, because I think there's maybe a misunderstanding that the free and reduced meals, the school has to pay for it. So
No.
people aren't applying for the free and reduced meals, and you were talking last year about how if people will apply for the free and reduced meals, it helps the school. And I think there's a misnomer that people think the school is paying. Can you just kind of...
No, the school, you're right, the school's not paying. What we need is we need those free and reduced forms filled out, because if that gives us the indication on economically disadvantaged students. And the more economically disadvantaged students we have, the more grant money we're able to go get. Like, we qualified for this program on the lunch program because of those free and reduced lunch forms. And this is something that also affects our state aid. And right now we're running about 58 to 59%, which is right at the bottom of what you can get into this lunch program for. We're right at the bottom. We're really close to barely being able to stay in contention for federal grants, and that's why we want everybody to fill those out.
I just think if we could find the best way to make sure that people know that you're not hurting the school, filling those out, and also you're actually helping the school,
Yeah,
and that we're not paying for it, I think that would,
yeah, and I think with the state superintendent coming out saying what he did, I think that may throw some confusion on it, because I've had several news media people that have said the same thing.
that's what I got confronted is the state deal. And so
Yes,
I tried to explain that, saying that actually helps us. If people, even if your kid's gonna bring their lunch, if you'll fill it out, you can.
yeah, just fill it out. And your kid may see something, hopefully, we have good enough meals that your kids see something that they really like and they go eat, it doesn't cost.
Right.
Thank you. Anything else, Andy, on the
No, sir.
meals? Okay. J, discussion and possible action to approve the following fundraisers. Junior high students ice cream, there we go. Junior high students shirts, junior high faculty snack cart, Gilmore music, video recording downloads, and Heritage Library a book fair.
Something that Ms. Goldbeck asked me about was what are we doing on the raise money for students? This is to cover the expenses that come about when we go do some field trips so that we don't have to charge everybody, movie days, things like that. And then we do some altruistic things with that student fund too. It's written pretty broad. And the rest of these are pretty self-explanatory. And whenever it says all school year, that doesn't mean they're running them every day of the school year. What it means is they run it at select times during the year.
I'll make a motion, we approve the fundraisers.
I second.
All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion passes. All right. The lights back on. Discussion and possible action to declare outdated technology inventory as surplus addendum D.
These were items that Ms. Knoll brought in and the technology department brought in that need to, I'm not going to go through that whole list, but we're going to put on Purple Wave to see, and we'll give our people a chance to bid on it as well, because there are some things in there that are still good. We've got a list of science stuff that Ms. Schwartz has that'll come on the next one, but there's only so much Purple Wave fun you can enjoy at once. I mean, so we'll bring those about, but we've got a lot of, there's a lot of old technology in there.
I'll make a motion, we approve the surplus inventory on addendum D.
Second.
All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion passes. L, discussion possible action on estimate needs for fiscal year 2026 as prepared by Burton, Kirkendall, and Miller. We're not going to do anything on that. We're going to skip that.
We're not going to do that due to having to figure out what the deal is on the principal on that loan.
Okay.
On that judgment, not that loan.
So that'll be next board meeting.
Yes, it'll be September 1.
Okay, M, superintendent's report.
Yep. Ms. Tollefson?
So for our number of students enrolled, just kind of a quick rundown of our enrollment. For pre-K, we currently have 68 enrolled. Kindergarten, we have 97 enrolled. First grade, we have 83 enrolled. And it's fluctuated a little bit in the last few days. We've received some, new students coming in. We've also had a couple of students moving out or that maybe didn't show. So it's kind of, we're day by day checking those numbers. And then just welcoming new staff to our building. We have Miss Amy Barnett and Miss Davin DeVildas from Heritage that have joined us, which we're so grateful because with those numbers, we definitely needed them. So we appreciate them coming to Gilmore. And then we have welcomed Miss Rachel Franks from Hennessy as our Gilmore Elementary Music and Heritage Elementary Music teacher. And we're so excited to have her. She actually went to school here at Kingfisher High School, so we're excited she's joining us. And then we also have 2 new paraprofessionals, Brooke Smith and Destiny Brown, and they have just done an amazing job stepping into that role. and we appreciate their hard work. And then we also have someone not new to the district, but new to our building at Gilmore, Kinsey Muggenberg. She's helping us with speech this year. So again, we're super excited to have her join our team at Gilmore. And other than that, it's just we've been welcoming in all those sweet babies to school and just getting into the routine and learning all those new procedures. It's going great.
And I gotta say, that line over Gilmore, it really moves.
Does it?
Yeah, it was.
We did set a record. In my role here, we actually were almost completely done the first day at 3:13. And in the past couple years, it's been backed up till really around 3:20, 3:25. So we're all pretty proud of all of that. But we do use school safety, and it just works so great. So we're hope to keep it moving smoothly. So.
That's great.
Okay, for Heritage, in my second grade, I have 79 kiddos. In third grade, 76. That's kind of fluctuated by 1 or 2 kiddos. And the new staff that we've welcomed, third grade teacher, Kelly Connell, PE teacher, Nicole Kippenberger. Bobby Baker moved from Gilmore to my building, and she is now in the leap room. I have 2 paraprofessionals that are also, one is with a one-on-one student and one is in the leap room. I have Ava Barrett and Anna Quaylar. And then I also have Rachel Franks for my music. So we did not set a record on the first day for our line. Not at all. But we're in hopes. Every day it seems to get a little bit faster, so it's looking up. But so far so good. I think the kiddos are, knock on wood, doing pretty good. So.
Okay, at the Q, our enrollment in 4th grade, we have 97 enrolled, and we have a new student that starts tomorrow. In 5th grade, we have 83, and in 6th, we have 94. We have several new staff members. We have Madison Andrews. She's going to be teaching 5th grade ELA. Nick Smith, he's going to be a paraprofessional. Miranda Guthrie is going to be in the Reading ELA Special Education Resource Room. Isaac Waltman will be repositioning from PE to the Math Special Education Resource Room. Nicole Kippenberger will be doing PE at Heritage, and then she's going to come over to us and do work in the resource room as well. And Sydney Gifford will be teaching 5th grade science. And things are, I think, going well. I'm still trying to learn the ropes, but it seems to be going well. So,
One that I guess is a sped director, I'll mention Ryan Brock.
oh yeah,
Yeah, he's at the Q, but I think I don't know if he's at your building as much, he's between our buildings, but Ryan Brock, he's also an additional special ed director, so
And
we haven't run him off yet anyways.
I'll give Ms. Shelton credit, she has not ran out of there screaming about whenever she has to try to figure out the air conditioning system.
well, I have. I just came back.
Okay. Well, here at the junior high, our numbers are down a little bit. We're used to having right around 200 kids in this building. This year, we're right around 171. We have some new teachers. I've been really fortunate to find good quality teachers this year over here in the 7th grade hall in ELA, because a year ago I was welcoming Miss Haley Mitchell, who did an outstanding job. And if you guys know Jill Myers, that's her sister-in-law. So this year I'm getting Whitney Johnson, who is also Miss Myers' sister-in-law. So I told Whitney she's going to have to stay a while because I think Jill's out of sister-in-law. So, she's been a great addition. We also, in 7th grade, we have, for math, Brady Wardlaw, who's coming from Miko. Excited about him coming. He's the only teacher that has beaten me here every day. So I get here about 6:40. I don't know what time he gets here, but he's been here a while, and I can tell. But also, a favorite of mine was Carrie Lafferty. We got her to come back. So she'll be 8th grade ELA. And then from Kenneth Cooper Middle School, we got Christopher Steed, who is really excited to be here. He's also doing some softball. Also, for having the cell phone policy in, I feel like things have really gone well. Kids can't have their cell phones on at all. And I kind of wondered at lunch before they could have it at lunch. Well, now they're actually conversing with each other and talking to each other, and we were kind of excited. We weren't sure how lunch would go, if it'd be chaos or, but kids have adjusted and they're doing well. And I will say, hearing from staff members from here and the high school, they all say that it's one of the smoothest starts, not one of the smoothest starts to the school year that they can remember.
So the reason why he's missing a few bodies over here and feels like he has less students is because we have 117 freshmen at the high school. And had a new enrollee today. 87 sophomores, 101 juniors, and 90 seniors. We also we have 9. As of right now, we have 9 that are going to partake full time in the Thrive program, and their start aligns with Newcastle Public Schools. It is a little bit later, so we're hoping that we still get a few more of those before they start on the 14th. And then in our building, we have about 20 students that are going to take advantage of the Expand program through Thrive and take a class that either we don't offer or a class that they couldn't have fit into their schedule any other way due to ag or choir or athletics, something. We have a few career tech kids that just couldn't fit something that they needed in their schedule, and so they'll be taking advantage of that. New staff members. So first is a repurposed one. We were lucky enough to steal Timmy Winans from the junior high to do our senior English, and so we're excited to have him. And then also in our English department, Jessica Toledo is taking over for Ken Thompson, who left us in junior English. And then a split person, kind of part-time in my building doing freshman government, Oklahoma history, and then some computers for Chris. Over here is Brian Archer. Then Tiffany Paul is our new Spanish teacher, also doing double duty. I said Paul. She got married right before school started, and her husband's Kingfisher PD, and then Kingfisher grad. So it's actually Tiffany Goodwin now. And then the last one is Mackenzie Eppenbach, who is doing science and assistant cheer. Just a few things. We started the year with activities already. So last week, softball, they went to a festival and actually outscored opponents 55-11. Had a really, really strong start to the season. She said that really, really good presence on the plate all weekend, and then she was very surprised with her pitching. Thought that was very, very proud of that. Football started official practice today, so fun for them out there. And then Dr. Johnson said it best. We've done it 2 years now. so it's a tradition. But today we gathered everybody out at the flag and kind of have a little tradition that we do now, where we just get everybody out there and just kind of kick the year off. We raise the flag, the band plays, have our senior class president give a little speech, and just kind of kick off the year. So that was fun this morning. And then a lot of fun this afternoon. We had both News 9 and News 5 here with, and the Daily Oklahoman with Kingfisher alum Curtis Lofton, Secretary of Education Nellie Sanders, and school board members, state school board members, Becky Carson and Ryan Deathridge. They got to spend some time with Miss Swart in her classroom doing the virtual reality stuff that we got a grant for last year. We have 30 of those headsets over here at the junior high and 30 of them at the high school. There's a ton of lessons for math and science, and it's really a neat thing for our students. For instance, the one I did, it's a virtual lab, so they teach mitosis. Now they put on the VR headsets and they have the opportunity where they are a doctor in a hospital room doing a skin graft, and as they're doing the skin graft, they're learning about the different ways in which cells grow and things like that. So it's a really hands-on. You got to give them space and spread out so you don't get punched, but it's real hands-on, and so it's a cool experience. And so it was good to have them get to be here and get to see that, and kind of show some of the cool things that are happening in our classrooms.
To add to that, we have those here as well. And I did one of the lessons was on vaping, and you got to go inside of a lung and look around, and you could see how vaping affects your lungs. So I thought that was very powerful and a good lesson for our kids.
And those were both on the 5 o'clock news, so if you go home tonight, you can search that and see and catch those if you missed those little segments. So.
And what Channel 5 at one of the elementary schools? Which?
No, they went out there at the high school.
At the high school?
Yeah, the first day of school. They came here, but they went out to Senior Sunrise.
Okay.
And got some video out there. And then they went over to the Cube and watched kids arrive over there and shot some stock video there. And yeah, Channel 5, I think they may want to move to. I'm not sure. But they've been up here quite a bit, and it's nice to get good publicity.
Yes, it is.
Instead of more difficult publicity.
Mr. Coleman, did you set a record in your pickup line?
Do what?
Did you set a record in your pickup line?
No, we've actually had 2 fender benders already. So we might be setting a record out in the back parking lot with those. So.
Yeah, but we must say the donut that was cut out there in the football field parking lot, that was pretty geometrically sound.
Good one, huh?
Yeah, it was geometrically sound. I'll give you credit for that. On a couple of things going on around the district right now. If you drive in front of Gilmore, you'll notice that we're trying to remove the eyesore. Jody Hall sent those guys back over before they start work at Cashin, and they wanted to get that done before their bonding liability was up. And they'll stop at the breezeway because we really don't need to be spending $163,000 to go the rest of the way around that. And we've been doing quite a few air conditioning projects. I'm going to have to call OSIG tomorrow and get them to come through. We've been looking. We've got some storm damage up there that hasn't been turned in years. And we've got some air conditioning units that are really hurting.
Okay. Anything else?
No, sir.
All right. Down to N, resignations and opening of positions.
I would recommend that we accept Michaela Hinton, Chris Starr, Crystal Medina, and Carolina Davila as resignations. Chris Starr's I accepted via email. I didn't get it in this packet.
Mayor, motion?
So move.
I second.
All in favor, raise your right hand. Motion passes. O, proposed executive session to discuss employment and compensation of the following positions for the 2025-26 school year, the disclosure of which discussions would violate confidentiality requirements of state or federal law as authorized by 25 OS 307B1 employment. A, discussion of employment, addendum A. B, discussion of contract changes, addendum B. C, discussion assignment of extra duty contracts, modifications and assignment, that's addendum C. And D, adjunct teacher approval for Thrive, addendum E.
I'll make a motion, we enter into executive session.
I second.
All those in favor, raise your right hand. We're in executive session at 7:45. Board of Education met in executive session on 8/11/2025. The board members consisting of Charles Walker, Bill Wright, Dana Goldbeck, Brad Whitrock, and Mike Copeland. We entered into executive session at 7:45 and returned to open session at 8:39. The matters as listed on the board agenda were considered in the executive session and no other matters were discussed. No board action was taken in executive session. We are on to D, discussion and possible action to approve addendum A.
I'd move that we approve the action of moving Kelly Connell from part-time take flight to full-time third grade and Anna Quellar to paraprofessional.
I so move.
Second.
All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion passes. R, discussion and possible action to approve addendum B.
Addendum B is to add career tech dues to Tyler Gratter, Stephanie Wolf, Sabrina Nault, Kirk Kaya, and Melissa Hardison's contract. We don't have that in there. We can't really pay that out of their career tech funds, and they don't get their dues paid. So I'm asking you to add that to their contract.
Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion passes. S, discussion and possible action to approve addendum C.
This would be modification of Haley Mitchell, Leslie Redwine, and Mike Hensley's extra duty contracts.
I so move.
I second.
Everyone in favor, raise your right hand. Motion passes. And T, discussion and possible action to approve addendum E.
Let me get to addendum E. I've got too many addendums here. Oh, this would be to put the Thrive teachers that are presented, Deanne Pittman, Brian Cow, Laura Howe, as adjunct teachers in within the specialties that they have for Thrive. It's for certification purposes only.
Okay.
I so move.
I'll second.
All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion passes. Any new business?
None.
Any announcements? W.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
I second.
All those in favor, raise your right hand. We are adjourned at 8:42.